Well, back in Ontario, it was nice to get back. The weather's very similar. So it's just another day. It was just another day at the office today, but it was nice to come back and get to see everybody again. Start to get everything cleaned up and everything moved around. It's such a different time of year. Just a transition from the rat race of stake season and training down all spring. You get to fall, and it's like little stops along the way, right? You go to a sale, you pick out the horses, you get them broke, you're trying to move some horses out that maybe are reaching their class limits and bring new horses in and find them. It's just a totally different feel on both sides of the border this time of year. So it's nice. It feels slower day to day, from day to day. Could be a slow Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday, you got to train 15 2-year-olds coming back, and you gotta break one of the babies, and you gotta go race horses. So today is just a nice day, a nice quiet day. Went over to the barn, got to meet with everybody, got to see Paige and James and Dominic and Mario and Harry and everybody. Griffin was there this morning. Yeah, Griffin was there. So I got to see everybody this morning. But most importantly, also for me, I got to see some of the horses I hadn't seen yet. I hadn't really seen Cleveland Masha yet. What a nice filly this is. She's got such a great attitude. So when you put the hobbles on a pacer for the first time, I'll talk about that in just a second. But when we put the hobbles on a pacer for the first time, a lot of the times they get anxious, right? They get these straps around their legs. They're nervous. And some of them can act out and lash out. And it can be a bit of a rodeo sometimes. And when it came to Cleveland Masha, Danny said, just let me know what you want to do the first day with the hobbles on. I said, I'll go with them. I'm here. I'll go with them. I trained ready for landing. He trained great. I know for my partners out there, I get the odd question, and when's he going to be ready? I'm thinking probably the middle of December. I told everybody around the start of December, but there's no rush with this guy. Happy with his mannerment. Very quiet now. Before he was really hot and wiry. Very quiet. Exactly what I wanted to see from him. Really happy with the way he trained today. I trained a mile and a half, 221, I think. 221, 222. He trained good. Very, very happy with what I saw from him. And then I came in, went with those two babies. The Woodmere Betcha filly's been giving them fits a little bit, getting the bridle on. She had struck at Danny a couple of times, and I didn't see any of that today. On the track, she's a sweetheart. Both those fillies, great attitudes today on the track. There was no concerns of them acting out or striking or kicking or being bad. They both seemed perfectly dialed in today and happy to do their work. So that's a big part of it, right? When you get that good attitude, it's easier to teach a horse that's eager to learn, as you can imagine, much like kids sometimes, and even adults sometimes. So just really, really happy with them. I got to watch Gaslight jog, and I think Chicago jog. Everybody went well today at the barn. It was a good day at the barn in Ontario. Dropped Dolly off for a little baseball practice this morning.
Not really baseball practice. I was the only one that came.
You and Cooper were the two.
I had to be there, so I was the only one.
Yeah, it was an optional practice. It was nice to go. Did you have a catch with him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's nice that you get to bond with Cooper at least. And I got to talk to Coach Adam, so that worked out well. It was a good day in that regard. The girls don't have a whole lot on the go today. Amy's going to get her hair done. I'm going to get my hair cut because it's so long. Whoa, boy. Whoa. There's certain lines you don't cross, and you're getting close to crossing one of them. But it's just been a wonderful, wonderful day here in Ontario. This week we had a lot of luck with the horses. It wasn't like a burning week. Wednesday was hot. We had a real good day at Northfield on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday a little slower. Picked away, right? Picked our spots, seconds, thirds, and fourths. We had a pretty decent day. I was happy overall with the way that things went. It's this one here, all, isn't it? No, I think it's the next one. No, it's the next one. It's the next one. It's right here. Yeah. 178 Hume Road. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
So,
still got the pumpkins up just to remind Dad how it's not his favorite holiday.
Is that why they left him out, do you think?
Totally.
Really? Why don't you head in before you get a kick in the arse? All right, behave. We'll come get you. Mom's already talked to Archer's mom. All right? Behave. You got everything?
Yeah, everyone. Oh, good mom.
Yeah. So we had a good week at the track. Wednesday was a real hot day. I guess we'll start with Wednesday because I was excited about it. Race for Landing, we turned him out in the field last week. I just want to give him a month off. I want to race him all winter, so I want to have him fresh and ready to go all winter. I wanted to race the filly also. Absolute Euphoria. I want to race her all winter, so I'm torn. I guess we'll race her one more time. And then I suspect she will head to. Out to the field for a month also. Just as we get them ready for the winter racing. She's raced all year. Remember, we had this filly pretty well ready to go in January, I think, and she ended up with a line in her knee. We had to give her time, brought her back, and then right into stake season with her, or right into racing and then stake season. So she's been going between training and racing for well over for a year. So a little time off is certainly not going to hurt her. Let's rewind. I was going to do Wednesday, but let's go all the way back to Nothing But a Dreamer was a winner last weekend. Really happy with the way he went. Enzo was a fourth. Gandalf raced good. He was second. Still answering a lot of questions from people saying, hey, Anthony, Gandalf the Black, I don't really understand why he would be for sale. Well, and I have to understand, I want everybody to take this, one, with a grain of salt, and two, with absolute due respect, with great respect. You don't really understand the playing field, and I was trying to explain that to somebody the other day, and I didn't mean it in an offensive way, but understanding what we're trying to do and how we want to achieve it is paramount if you're trying to understand what we're doing, right? Just having a horse that can go out the track and do good every week is wonderful. It's a great feeling. But the reality of the situation is eventually that horse will run its way to the classes unless you want to race your horse in in that conditioned manner where you get up high and then you have to, they kind of get a beat up, and then you get down and you go back up. I hate doing that. I hate racing in that manner. I have no interest in doing that. I do it with White Tiger because that's a high-end horse. It's a little bit different. In the winter, he's kind of an open trotter. In the fall and the spring, he's a preferred handicap type. And for the most part, in the summer, in the heat of the summer, he's that below those two trots in the top echelon of the condition races. So I would much rather race our horses where they can go on the track and do well every week. And that's why we kind of lean towards that now when there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 even in some cases, horses that can do some good, move them around where we're at now, whether it be, a perfect example is Collector. So here's how Collector is going to race. Collector's maybe going to race at Northfield once. He trained this morning. I was told he trained awesome. Jason Merriman called me to tell me how they all trained. He trained for them in the race bike. Collector trained fantastic. Kenobi trained very, very good. Warwi Yuri, he thought trained well, as did What a Mission as he's getting ready to go again. What a Mission on the right line a little bit. That's not abnormal for What a Mission also. So I had a real good conversation with Jason about those. Now in Collector's case, here's a horse with 4 starts lifetime, 1 win. He fits the maiden at Mohawk, I believe. Jason thought the horse is very strong, had a lot of pop. He said Kenobi, same thing, lots to offer. Kenobi will race in the numbers of 5 at the Meadows. My apologies. I forgot how hard it was to get all the ownership transfers done after Harrisburg, and I didn't get it switched over. And for those of you out there that have ever bought a horse, you know that you have to transfer the ownership after, you might be able to enter the horse, but you have to transfer the ownership before it gets in the program, or it becomes a little bit of a problem. In Ohio, sometimes they'll fine you. They scratched us for the Walters Keepsake horse. Where in Ontario, you can usually switch it. It's not a big deal. Pennsylvania, probably the same. But when you're leaving a public auction, those ownerships are locked. You can't even enter the horse. Can't even enter the horse until it's paid for. So a little bit of a different situation in that regard when it comes to what you can and can't do. We won't be able to even enter Kenobi or Collector until the week after next. So we trained them up today. We'll train them up hard again on Thursday, and then we'll make a decision on where they're going to go. My initial thought was that Collector would race once at Northfield, but if he is as good as if him and Kenobi were as good as Jason said they were today, then they may both come to Ontario. Collector, at the very least, might show up here a week before. My thought was Collector may go Northfield, Mohawk, or maybe just straight to Mohawk. Kenobi will go Meadows, Dayton, and when he's saturated, his overstayed his welcome there, then he can head to Mohawk. And that was my plan for those two particular horses. So understanding what we do is very, very important. And as if I send you an email and it sounds like I'm telling you don't understand, I truly apologize. I don't mean that in a rude, ignorant way. It's just trying to explain what we are doing. I don't really want the horses that have over 10 wins that got to bounce around from numbers to 10 to 20 to 15 to 18 and then back down. And I would rather have the horses on their way up or that top echelon. You're going to see Patrick De Piranha got beat in a condition race the other day. Good horses. Shouldn't have got beat in there, and I explained why I believe he did the other day, and it was very plausible. One, he doesn't like the mud. Two, the track was hard with mud on top of it. And three, he's not a big fan of the front end, but just the way the race was shaping up, I just thought that of what was offered to me, the class we're at, the situation we're in, head to the front. And that's why we ended up there. But I don't mind those types of horses, the Patricks, the White Tigers. But when you have horses that are just going to play around that middle condition, I'd rather just move them on and get a nice numbers of 2 or 3 horse pace or trot and move them up through the ranks. So that is how, when I say you have to understand the playing field, that's what I'm talking about. When Gandalf wins a few more races out of that numbers of 3 and 4, he's up in a tougher class. And if you can't do in there, now your paths really narrow. You only got a couple of avenues, and I would rather race the horses where they have a multitude of avenues available to them. So that's what I mean by that. So again, if I find myself once in a while, I'll send that note out, and then I'll just be driving down the road, or before I go to bed, think about it, say, I hope it didn't come off as a dick, because I'm not really trying to, and I didn't really mean it. And I'll actually go back and revisit emails, and if I need clarification sent to the people I sent it to, then I will. But if you're one of those people that got an email and you're like, geez, that kind of sounds rude, certainly didn't mean it that way. It's just me trying to explain what we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to get there. So, but we did, as I said, had a pretty good week. We started a little slow. Gandalf was good. Enzo was pretty good on Tuesday. I think you're going to see Enzo be a lot better this week, and I think Halakai is going to give that horse of Beavers a run for her money in the final of that series. And not to say that we're the only 2 horses in it. There are other horses in there, but I like the way she drew. I drew inside of Aaron. Halakai I thought was good, but could have been better the other day, and I believe we know what is going on with both her and Enzo. Very similar. Their liver counts have jumped a little bit. We've been treating them very aggressively. I expect them to be very, very good this week. Now, on Wednesday, a little different story. Went over to the Meadows. Yes, Brace made a break, and we're going to turn Brace out for a month because I want to race him all winter. We're going to maybe turn Absolute Euphoria out after this week. We're going to race her one more time. After that, maybe she'll go out for a week. We'll see. But everybody else raced great. Atlas Hanover was a winner and looked very, very good in doing so. Coupe de Ville just beat at the wire. She raced awesome. I hope she goes to a breeding farm on Monday. I don't mind if a racehorse people buy her, but I would love for her to have a path to a breeding operation this spring. I just think that she's going to make a good broodmare. She's such a nice filly, bred real well, but tough as nails. And I really, really like Coupe de Ville. Got a lot of respect for this filly. Halakai raced good. Fast closing, was I third? No, I was second, I believe. But I could have been a winner had I not got stalled. In the last turn. She raced great. Divine Zet was a winner and looked very, very good. Went back. I want to know what the hell that step was down the backstretch she put in, and then you could see it in the video. You could see exactly what took place in the video. The Buxton underneath came undone from the bottom ring in between her legs and kind of wrapped around her leg for a second. She put a step in and then just come up trotting. I'm like, geez, what the hell was that? And then as I went back at the video, you could see next week she'll wear a breast plate, which doesn't have the buckle underneath. Not that is something that generally happens, but I'm not going to chance it. We'll go to a breastplate with her next week. And she was very, very strong. Lindy's Landing actually caught me off guard. I knew I was going to drive him aggressive. I knew that he was a much better horse than he showed when Chris had driven him. And I kind of razzed Chris afterwards. But truthfully speaking, when you jump up, you never want to break Rule 1 as any driver, especially driving a horse for somebody that you drive. Chris is one of our go-to guys when I'm not around. and always does a great job with the horses. So he was a little soft with the horse, and I may have pushed him in that direction also. Plus he had his shoes turned around backwards. I just don't think he was getting a hold of the track. I trained him with the shoes around the right way, and I knew that he was in a good spot, and I was going to drive him really aggressively, and I thought that he raced very well, responded well. Mile and 57, that was a big mile the other night. It's hard, I was telling somebody the other day, it's hard to explain to people that Northfield Park is not the Northfield of past. That the home of the flying turns and all these world records and track records, they're gone. It's going to be a long time before it's going to take a good horse to break any one of those records. Do I think the track was a little bit short? Yes, but they reconfigured it, and it tell you what it feels like, a lot like Grand River now, where it's not really known for its speed. I would be shocked if you see anybody go near any of the world records that were set at Northfield Park or track records. It's not the same track, and it is not a fast half-mile track right now. I don't really care about speed. I'm not making fun of it. I don't care about that. But going back to Lindy's Landing, that mile and 57 was a hell of a mile. A very, very good mile from that horse on Wednesday evening. Five Fish Species did what she could, and that was a bit of a farce that, they let that horse in that race. I can't believe they did that. But it is what it is, and shockingly enough, the 210 shot won the race easily. A Sliver of Fashion told everybody this is one horse I just think should bring 16, 18, maybe even 20,000 on Monday, and I'm not going to give this guy away. My concern was, can he do in the next class? When we had entered him in the sale, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know if he could do the next class up, but after racing him the other day and see his mannerments in the post parade and how he's really grown up as a horse, matured, and likes his work, he is a horse I'm not going to give this guy away. We're going to get fair market value for him, or I'm just going to retain him. I think he's a nice horse. He gets around any size track. He's never had any issues with lameness of any kind. And, put him right on the gate. He can leave if you want to leave. He'll follow. But the way he finished up his mile the other day, he wanted to get at them the whole way down the lane. And I just thought the horse raced really well, and I was really happy with him. Then we went on to Thursday. Stay Close made that very rare break in the first turn. I have actually watched that replay a number of times, at least 5 times. I can't really pinpoint what took place. He did only get rough and make a break when I did finally relent and decide I was going to back him into that 2-hole. Did that jostle him a little bit? I'm not sure, but it was right at that moment. So I have to believe that there's a possibility that that's exactly what took place. Think of Galaxies. It was just a bonehead drive on my part. I should have been much more conservative with that mare. She's such a likable horse and such a good horse. She can beat the Open. But to let the favorite who won the Open at Dayton away to the half in 54-4, which I thought was stout enough, but at the same time, a horse that's used to those fractions, and then come first over into her, just not my best day at the office, let's say. Although I probably would do it again and again. I hope I don't do it the next time, because it just ended up being the wrong move for sure at the moment. Cupid Express, a little flat, but it has been racing great. He's just been such a nice filly for us. Here's a filly, not a pimple on her, never puts a step in, trot all day long, just a very, very nice horse to deal with. And maybe a hair flat the other day, but again, no doubt in my mind, she bounces right back her next start. And again, another horse where I'm not going to let her go for nothing. I know what she's worth. And there's going to be people out there say, it could be another wallop situation. There's going to be lots of wallop situations. I'm not giving our horses away. And for the times we get beat up on a wallop, we're going to do right by many, many. Look at Coupe de Ville. We retained Coupe de Ville, and she ended up making $50,000 almost straight away, just because we didn't sell her for the $30,000 that somebody offered us. So I don't feel bad about wallop or any of the other situations. I know what the horses are worth, and I'm going to price them accordingly. And if they don't bring it, they don't bring it. We'll just retain them and bring them home. That's fine. I mean, all the horses we have offered up on Monday are all quality horses, many of them coming in razor sharp. Coupe de Ville hasn't missed the top 2 in her last 7 and has been fantastic, right? Nothing But a Dreamer's won his last 4. His last start, he went in 53-4 at Mohawk. These are quality animals. These aren't throwaways. But they're horses that, again, we have spots we're looking to fill in the barn. And once you start to get to the top of those classifications, we're going to look to move the horses along. And that's just the way it is. That is the position I've taken. That's the model that I've molded the stable into right now. And it is one we're going to continue to follow. And I make no I offer zero apologies for doing so, because I think it is the right direction to move the barn in, and that is exactly why we're doing it. Absolute Euphoria. I wish I had just come first over and tried her. I started out of the 3-hole, long shot in the front, but the favorite in the 2-hole. I'm the next favorite. I'm thinking what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Dave Palone's not moving, maybe I'll sit. Dave still got out and won the race. And Absolute Euphoria had enough room to make a run at them down the lane, probably be a really good 4th or 5th. But instead, she just kind of fizzled when I moved her. Now, it could have been a number of things that went into that. We'll change a number of things next week. I want to race her in an open bridle too, and we'll see how she races. If she races flat again, then she can go to the field just like Brace, and we'll prime her and get her ready for winter racing 2024. Now, Friday it poured rain, but we had a tremendous day at the track. No winners. Not one winner on Friday, but I think every single horse raced good, and not one check missed. Smoking Hot Irish Girl was a very good 3rd and 55-4 on a cool day. Cool day that turned into a rainy, cold day, but when she raced it, the track was still fast. It was a cool day. Trotted in like 56-1, but raced good. Delicious Stone DK. Lauren did a tremendous job driving this horse. What a nice little horse he is. It's hard to explain because we gave a lot of money for him, and he has not come to where we wanted him to be yet, but he will. He's a very, very nice horse, and I just think we're close. You saw, she finished up really strong in the pouring rain with him the other day. He was weaving around trying to get through and chase down the leaders. His mindset is coming back in the straight and narrow, and I think physically he's getting there. We're going to see the best form of this horse for us anyway come very shortly with Delicious Stone DK. Patrick the Piranha. Yeah, I outlined exactly what took place. I'm not really apologizing for the drive because I think in that situation it was warranted. I didn't want to dump him in the 3-hole to come first over at the 3/8, which that's exactly what would have happened with the second favorite on the front. I'm 1-5, so I'm a sit and duck. Everybody knows I'm not staying in, so get underway as quick as you can and be second over. The horse in the 2-hole is a long shot, so I have to move. I'm on the move at the 3/8 into the only horse that on paper should give me a tussle. It's just not the way I'd want to race him. I would rather put him on the front, get a cheap half with the horse if I can, and win the race. And it just worked out that I ended up, he wasn't good when he made the front. There was wind in my face and down the stretch anyway. I just kind of let him float over to the half. We got there 57-2, which was a breather, but he didn't really feel that sharp because he likes the mud about as much as I do, to be honest. He wears flip-flops also, so now you got a hard track with mud on top with a horse that's not really that keen on racing in the mud to begin with. And I put him in a place where, of all his places to win races, he's won races on the front, and he will again at some point. Not his favorite place to be. So everything kind of worked against him on that day. But as I said, the unapologetic way to look at it is I was the favorite. I wasn't putting him in a place to get beat. I was going to put him in a place to win the race, regardless of weather, the track, or anything else. I put him in the place he needed to be to win. He didn't, but he raced okay. Spitfire Overseas raced awesome. That Chin Chin Hall is a killer. My God, just class. It's so hard to beat class. He's got like $800,000 made. Broke down last year. Brought him back. You got him on this hard track, and he just let him sail. And he just stretched everybody out. I was 8-10 lengths off coming to the half. I was nowhere to be found. You need a search party to find me at the 3/8 mark. At the half, I'm still quite a ways off. I'm trying to run down just to class of the field with a horse that's a nice horse. But he's not Chin Chin Hall. Chin Chin Hall's been there, done that. We're trying to get Spitfire somewhere near that type of horse from the past. And although Chin Chin Hall's best days are behind him, every so often those classy buggers jump up and give you a little spark, a little taste of what they used to be able to do. And just a classy horse. And a very, very nice horse, obviously. So Spitfire raced well. Yo Mister just third beat, half a length at Dayton. Raced very, very well again. Probably one of the best races in quite a while from J.K. Mickey Mantle. That was an impressive mile. I told everybody he lost his left front shoe somewhere in the mile. I have no idea where he did. But closing hard in the rain, in the mud, 52, that was a hell of a mile for J.K. Mickey Mantle. I was a little surprised. I said to Tim after, bugger must not want to leave. He must be watching the videos and know that we put him on the preferred site, and he doesn't want to go anywhere. So he was who's this guy? What's the same? Oh no, he's going in there. He was very, very good. Closing, strong second over trip. Usually down the backstretch on the third quarter, he kind of dogs it a bit and really doesn't get at it. And then, he'll punch a little bit down the lane. But that was one of his better miles. Mentally, physically, I thought the horse looked very, very good. I don't think it moves the needle, so to speak, a whole lot on what I think he's worth. I think J.K. Mickey Mantle is going to bring good money, fair market value plus maybe. But I don't think we're going to get any surprises with the prices on him. As I was explaining to everybody the other night, he can do in that optional 40 claimer at Dayton. So we got him in a public auction where, although I tell you he can do in that class, he still has to go out and do in that class. So you're going to get paid probably somewhere around 42,000 for him, I would imagine. I don't think it isn't a situation where we're definitely not going to retain him, because I don't foresee a way that we don't get paid fairly for him. But I know what he's worth. Probably going to get 36 to 42,000 for J.K. Mickey Mantle, or thereabouts, I guess. And J.K. Victory, again, is getting near the end of the season. We talked to Ron. Last time I talked to Ron, he said, we'll take him to the East Coast, rest him, race him a couple of times and get him ready for Indiana. I think that's probably still the play. How that plays out, what field he goes to, when he goes to the field, the date of when we're planning to send him to the field and what will take place between now and then are just the details that have to be worked out. But again, 5th last night, the rail's really just not his place to be. He wants to be the last one to the front, or one of the last ones to the front, not the first one to the front and then let one go and he lets one go and now you're third along the rail coming out of the last turn. It's just not his preferred race from what I can see from that horse. He likes to mix it up. A little bit faster half, 54 and a piece usually is what he likes. I think the 91 and 49, he was over the half 53 and 4 if I'm not mistaken. He likes to mix it up a bit and then fight on down the lane. He's not that 26-second sprinter on the end of it. I don't believe so anyway. So not surprising. I think he drew the rail the last 2 times, which normally would be a great thing. But for a horse that likes to be, as I said, last one to the front, somewhere around 5, 6, 7 might be better post position for him to leave from. But he's been racing great. We were all pumped because he'd never missed a check in Indiana. Now he missed 2 in a row going into the other day. Hung on for 5th the other day, but certainly not a 1st or 2nd. But has had a tremendous year for us in Indiana, and very, very happy with him. Tonight we have nothing but a dreamer racing. Obviously we have the retirement ceremony for Sintra. That'll be pretty exciting. And then we have Rito's Lady making her first lifetime start, and Renegade Gypsy making his first start ever for a little bit of an augmented, a little bit of a different ownership group. The vast majority of Renegade Gypsy is now owned by Burke Racing and Weaver Buscemi. It was the best of both worlds, so to speak. I don't know if we, in the hindsight, looking at the Ohio sale, the way it played out, I think maybe Mark and his partners might have got ahead of us a little bit, but that was the deal we made. It was a deal in which the clients that wanted to stay involved with Renegade Gypsy could, and everybody else could exit if they wanted to. It was a fair ball across the board, and I think everybody should be happy with this deal, especially Weaver Buscemi. So Renegade Gypsy kind of still is ours, but mostly theirs, and he'll make his first start for Mark and Mike definitely tonight in Indiana. So that is what took place this week on the track. I talked about what took place today at the barn. Very excited about the way the babies have come. Danny and I just talked briefly. He said, Anthony, honestly, Tone, really happy with the way the horses look. The breeding's a little deeper. The horses look really good. I was pleased with the Masha filly. The shadow plays can be a little ornery and a little grabby and bully sometimes. That filly was perfect. For a filly that never had the hobbles on, she went out with her ears up and wasn't discouraged at all and did her work. And to me, I just thought that was such a big deal, because it says a lot about her mental stance as a racehorse, or as hopefully what will become a racehorse. So I was really happy with her. Happy to hear from Jason that Kenobi trained so good and that Collector trained so good. Those are 2 horses we had just purchased. Happy that Yuri trained well also, and What a Mission is almost ready to go back again soon to the races. So happy with the way everything went on both sides of the border today. In regards to the babies and your videos, everybody, as I said, I appreciate your patience. I know a lot of people, you guys are sitting at home saying, when can we see them, when can we see them, when can we see them? It would be like showing you a dry run, an early rehearsal for a play. It's not really what what we're trying to show you, right? We're trying to show you how the horses are supposed to look. We like to have the pacers gated. We like to have the trotters with a little bit of foundation in them so that they can go out and actually trot and do their work. We are very close to finalizing a Christmas party in Ontario. We're very close to finalizing the open house that we're going to have at Northfield Park this year. So just bear with us. We'll have a video. I hope to have a video definitely from Ohio, and maybe a drone video from Curtis of the horses going this week. The horses in Ontario are not... Today was the first day for the hobbles for Masha and for Woodmere Betcha. Resolve Indeed had an OCD removed, so she's not going to be ready to go until this Monday will be not even next Monday. The Monday after is when she'll start back, or the weekend before that is when she'll start back. And also My Wicked Heart will be making her way over. We haven't even broke her yet. Her and baby Yoda were probably actually just broke today in Ohio. We'll get My Wicked Heart all squared away. Maybe even get the hobbles on her a little bit early and get her back to Ontario for you to see. Resolve Indeed will be coming over here also. So 2 more Ontario breds to head to Ontario. Some 2-year-olds coming out of the field that are going to be over there. Right now, my job is to say, here's how many stalls you have in Northfield. Here's how many stalls you have in Ontario. Here are the horses in the field. Here are all the horses of the stable. Where are they going? And that's my job for the next 2 weeks. So a lot going on in my head, but still, the first year in quite a while, I've been able to really, truly start to take in Christmas season without the stress of getting everything done. There is a clear path for financial resolution for all the sales that we've attended so far, and that is a huge weight off my shoulders, and I appreciate that. Thank you all for buying up the shares and having the confidence in us. Next year we're going to tweak things a little bit. We'll talk about that throughout the year, but I got a pretty good idea how we can fix a lot of this moving forward. Allow us to still do our job but at the same time allowing you to shop a little bit more than you have the last 2 years as we buy the horses. We'll talk about that another day. But for now, just really, really thankful. It's Thanksgiving next week, in the United States. Very thankful for everything you guys have done for us and everything you've allowed us to do. Again, another massively deep year of pedigrees and babies in the barn. The 2-year-olds are coming back. An exciting group of sophomores are about to return next month. Just a great time. A great time for us. Everything's fresh and everything starts new right now at the stable. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you had a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Good luck to the Nothing But a Dreamer group tonight for the Sintra group that is no more. Thank you all for participating in that and allowing us to retire the horse with the dignity that he deserves. So with that, I will talk to you all this week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.